to Magic 102.7. It is time for the Corey Butterfield Show, or as we like to say around here, the Being Bermudian Show. I am your pilot, Corey Butterfield, and to avoid all turbulence, to make sure there are no terrorists on board, and more importantly, nobody can come rush this cockpit, I have brought with me the co-pilot, the one and only, the one who keeps on turning big wheel. Willie, what is going on?
Well, I'm on duty.
What you mean you're on duty?
Well, I'm here. I'm ready to do what I have to do.
Well, today might be one of those days.
Well, good afternoon, Corey.
Good afternoon, Willie.
And good afternoon, Bermuda.
And there you go. Oh, I'm Bermudian too, so should I say good afternoon for that too? I'll say good afternoon as Corey and good afternoon as Bermuda. I mean, I can't hear you.
Okay, all right.
No,
have it your way.
It's not my way.
You know.
It's not like that.
Well, the one was personal. I mean, personal because you're right in front of me.
Right, but I just thought you might have wanted a Bermudian to acknowledge your greeting, that's all.
No, but that was for the listening audience.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Would you like to say it again?
You're listening.
No, apparently I'm not. Would you like to say it again?
Okay. Good afternoon, Corey.
Hey, Willie.
And good afternoon, Bermuda. Okay.
I'm just saying, maybe we're waiting for somebody to, say, I'm just joking. Oh,
yeah.
Hey, look, man, let me tell you, I'm glad we're giggling right now.
Right.
Because I have not had to do this before, and maybe I don't have to do this today.
Okay.
But I feel compelled to do it. Cool?
Cool.
The compulsion I'm feeling, really, is to give a whole sort of introduction and setup for the data and content we're going to discuss today.
Okay, I like that.
Let me tell you something. I have been down some rabbit holes in the last 48 hours since we were here on Monday. I actually thought I was prepared for this show on Monday with the content I had.
Right.
And then I started putting myself in the place of many Bermudians and asking myself questions and then looking up those answers. And that caused me to go down a, what's bigger than a rabbit?
No.
Okay, well, we went, I went down one of those holes. And before we go on, because I've been so deep and had a few things going on, I still need to call you Miss Douglas. I am well aware. I will give you a shout, hopefully tomorrow. And I did receive your message from someone else. Gave a message to Nikita. I, believe it or not, Billy, I've not even read the message. Nikita gave me a message on Monday. I've not even had a chance to read the message.
Well, I must say, I tried to call you on Sunday. I was thinking something must be wrong with him. He usually answers at least my calls.
You got it.
Right?
Yep.
But, it was kind of important. I still haven't gotten to you with it. But, you've been in it.
I must say, it's been pretty deep.
Right.
And I'm actually a little, in all honesty, today's show and today's content, I wrote, I literally wrote things to make sure that I, as best I can, make the purpose of the information, any reason for the information, be out there.
Okay.
Because, quite frankly, for me, it was tough reading. Okay, and I've read a lot of stuff.
Right.
About, Bermuda and Bermudians, some of the stuff we've done to each other, some of the stuff that, we've had to fight amongst each other, and my sentiment was on the losing sentiment.
Okay, got
okay?
you. Yes.
And I'm reading some old stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, none of it prepared me for what I read.
Oh, wow. Wait, before we go any further, this is sounding a bit more, it's sounding very serious.
I'm not joking. It is dead.
Okay.
Deadly serious.
All right.
I would, if anybody, likes the show and they normally tune in, and if they were trying to figure the show that might give an indication of what the show is like to somebody who isn't a listener,
right,
today might be the day they should tune in.
Yeah.
The other reason they should probably tune in today is I'm not sure we'll be back tomorrow after we do this. We're doing it.
Right.
Well, unapologetic. And we're going to do it. So, what we're discussing today, and I'm still doing the intro part, is, and the reason why I find it important, and in fact, I called Willie after the show on Monday evening, because I got some comments, some messages, and for the first time, really, I felt like a listener.
Whoa.
Meaning, I had this feeling that the information was important information.
Okay.
We've given interesting information. We've given historical information. We've given all sorts of information. I hope it's been good. But for some reason, I felt that information was important information.
Okay.
Not controversial, provocative, whatever, just important.
Right.
And so that's where I went. That's the further rabbit hole I went. So today's show is most definitely more of the sort of who we are and where we are as Bermudians.
Okay.
Okay? But because we like data, I'm going to deal with the data that got us here and sort of how we get here. So I'm going to do a bit of a recap. I then want to add something to the recap and then get into it a bit more. So here we go.
Okay.
In terms of a recap, there's some data. Oh, one other thing, I'm sorry, I wanted to say. I will give everything that I speak today, every single thing comes from a publication that was published by the Bermuda government.
Oh, okay.
Some of the documents go back to 2000, some were in 2010, 2013. I have not met any public officer behind the bus stop, behind the sports club at 12:08 p.m. in order to hand the brown paper bag and give them the brown pay type envelope. Okay. It's been none of that. Okay. It's just been straight up. I have had some of those occasions. I must say, this is very interesting. You know, you get that, hey, bro, can you make me run a thing?
What's that, cloaking dagger?
Well, it's taking the plan from Stan to the man in the tan van. You know, remember those days? That's the street.
I like that.
So,
what do?
Psst. Yeah, hey, bud. Who, me? Right. Yeah, so that one. So we did discuss some of the information from the past. And so I just want to recap sort of that stuff and then lead us to, or tell us where we're going today. Okay, so in terms of the recap, like what do we already know that we discussed early in the week? Well, one of the major things is that we have a major problem in our population in terms of birth rate and death rate. And so what happens is we don't have enough babies given the amount of people who perish in the course of a year. And so last information we had for that was for 2024, and it was in the actual Digest of Statistics report. That's what the name of the report is, the Digest of Statistics 2024. And for that year, to give anybody who isn't aware, to just give you a rough idea, in 2024, we had 616 deaths and 425 births. So as you can see, there are more people who died than were born.
Yes.
And in the very, 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 very tough world of reading stuff like this, and I'm saying very tough, is because some of the labels, man, you just don't want to hear. Okay. Right? But it said that mothers, or couples, but women actually bear the child. So mothers in an average society ought to have 2.1 children on average in order to replace the generation.
I see.
So if there's two parents, they come together and have two children, those two children will replace the two parents.
Yes.
Two parents come together and have one child, you can see it's not a replacement. So, and the reason why it's higher than 2 or 2.1, in fact, in the U.S., it was 2.8,
right,
is because of infant mortality.
Gotcha.
So to account for babies that may not make the full term, that's the point, whatever.
Okay.
So we are not making enough babies, Bermudian babies, in order to replace the Bermudian population.
So what that happens, that would create a deficit, wouldn't it?
I mean, you can use words like that, but it just means we are dying out.
Yeah. Like, as in, we're becoming extinct?
You may want to have saved that word for later on in the show. So I'm not even going to grieve you now to give you the chance that you may hear some data later on that may make that word more accurate then than now.
No, you got me.
It is a tough show today. There is no good news.
Well, you got my attention.
Yeah. There's no good news today. Well, I'll try. But it's real.
Okay.
It's where we are. And how we got here is even less fun.
Okay.
Of the 425 babies that were born, at least, 326 of them had at least one Bermudian parent. Okay, so of the 425, there was something like 142 plus 73, 200 and X, where at least either both or one parent was Bermudian. So 99 children were born in Bermuda in 2024 where neither parent was Bermudian.
Right.
Okay, 99. And in case you're wondering what that looks like, the year before, so that was 425 babies.
Right.
The year before, there was 436. The year before that, 479. The year before that, 494. And the year before that, 541. So you see the collapse.
Yes.
Okay, we've gone from 541 in 2020, 541 babies born to 425 in 4 years.
Oh,
4 years. Okay. And the non-Bermudian parents, so the parents who had children, non-Bermudian parents who had children in Bermuda,
Right.
hailed from 39 different countries.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the last sort of recap is about jobs. And I will just add this here, that in 2024, 18 Bermudians entered the workforce. There were 18 new Bermudian jobs in 2024, while there were 560 non-Bermudian jobs in the exact same time period.
I'm not going to say it. That doesn't even sound like reality.
It doesn't, because you've got to ask yourself,
Right.
did more than 18 Bermudians graduate from college in any year?
Right.
I would think more than 18 probably do.
Correct. Wow.
They graduated from college in June, July, and didn't get a job, while watching another 400 foreigners get jobs.
Boy.
So the 18 versus 560. And here is the last two issues. One, this wasn't, I didn't say this before,
Right.
but I just think the data is here from the same 2024 Digest of Statistics. And I think it might just be culturally interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the population of Bermuda by parish, by sex, and by race. So in case, just take an overall picture, in 20, and this is the last census, so we're going back to 2016.
Okay.
Okay, so in 2016, every parish, bar Paget and Smiths, the majority population was black.
Okay.
Okay, and in Paget and in Smiths, Paget actually had the third largest spread. So in Sands, there are a lot more black people than white people.
Okay.
And closest to Sands would be St. George's, but it's 3,600 difference in Sands and 2,400 difference in St. George's. So it's not even comparable. But in Paget and Smiths, there's 2,300 more white than black in Paget and 1,025 in Smith. Smiths actually has the smallest gap between black and white residents. Smiths does. And the other thing I just wanted to say, because this deals with the census of 2016, which was the last one, so we are due to have one, is this. In the 6 years between 2010 and 2016, Bermuda's black population increased by 1,107.
Okay.
In the same 6-year period, the white population increased by 1,338. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's where we were. On Monday, we had been discussing some of that data. Now, before I move on, really, I see we had a visitor in the time that I was just talking about all of that. Is there something you wish to tell me about or off air?
You know, I think right now, I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay.
And she whispered something to me, but I didn't quite get it.
Was it a sweet nothing?
No, it wasn't a sweet nothing. It was what's in the cup.
Okay.
But I didn't quite get her. So, it feels like some type of soup. Let's see. It is.
Okay.
Wait one sec. Should have to tell me what kind it is.
Okay. Well, I can tell you on Saturday, somebody said, one thing I know about your co-pilot, he loves his food.
Well, I have an answer to that.
Oh, dear.
It's simple.
Okay.
This is how I keep my shape.
Brilliant. There had to be a secret. All right. So that was the recap. Now, I want to get into some information today, and I am really seriously going to address, this is almost like a disclaimer.
Right.
You know how you say the views expressed by whatever are not those of whomever?
Yes.
It's not quite a disclaimer like that, but I do want to tick a couple of boxes before I get into the weeds. Number one, today's content is about our population. We say the show is about being Bermudian.
Yeah.
And this is being Bermudian, not about culture, not about food, cuisine, marble pies, cup match. This is hardcore facts. And I mean hardcore facts. So the issue for me
Right.
is oftentimes there are elements that work in, say, finance or manufacturing or whatever, and when you get to the GDP, right, they can see what their contribution was.
Right.
Or if their industry has had a rough year, they can understand whether or not their industry has such a rough year, it pulled down GDP. So on a commercial basis, we have a lot of ways to identify success or not. I believe this data that we have determines how successful Bermuda is for Bermudians.
Yeah.
Not even suitable, okay? Successful. And so I want to say, you listeners, you are going to hear some stuff today. I'm just no two ways about it. I don't think I'm going to take many calls because some of the technical stuff, and I'm going to be running through a lot of different reports and a lot of numbers. So it might be best to maybe take calls tomorrow and go through it today. We'll see how it plays out.
Okay.
But that's the first thing. The second thing that I want to say is this should not be us. I know we've said this before, okay? But what we are going to discuss today, there are numerous bodies, organizations, and people who are obligated to share this information, in my opinion. Okay? And I listed who I thought that might have been.
Okay.
Right? And perhaps what the challenge is. And this information, if I just start with the media, yeah, I don't know if we're part of the media, so I'll say press.
Right.
Okay? News people.
Yes.
Okay? Well, you know, I've spent some time dealing with and working with some of Bermuda's newscasters.
Okay.
I had a life in the past that often had me dealing with them, either on television or in a newspaper.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would say about that is I had been on Bermuda Broadcasting, both for Rick Richardson's show News and Views, I believe, and for Gary Marino's show Let's Talk.
Yeah.
I will tell you, there have been times when I have been told of stories, or say a reporter calls somewhere to check on a story. It's a true story. The reporter is spot on.
Right.
and that person doesn't like that the reporter knew the information, is doing a story, even asked them the question.
Yeah.
They make a call to the powers that be, and that story gets yanked.
No.
I can tell you stories that I was involved in that got yanked. Oh, definitely. So that's electronic.
Right.
Trevor Lindsay began TNN.
Mm-hmm.
Where did he begin? I.O. Johnson was at the Royal Gazette. He began Think Media.
Yeah.
Ciola Wilson, big journalist.
Yes.
Bermuda Real.
Mm.
I say that to say that if the information is relevant to our listeners and us, yet it's not in the media or the press, why not? Well, if you look to see who the reporters are and who the reporters were, okay? And so the media wasn't going to do this.
Right.
They aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
They just not their interest. Parties. What about the political parties? Well, quite frankly, the stuff that we're talking about here is either the ability for or the lack of desire of employers hiring Bermudians or something else. But if you're the governing party, not MP, okay, the entity, the
Right.
party,
Gotcha.
and things are this bad, why wouldn't you call out business, the Chamber of Commerce, the people who are not hiring Bermudians?
Yeah.
Because I assure you, if the government was different, that party would be furious with this data.
Okay.
And so I don't quite know why that party isn't. And I am floored, flabbergasted, as Malcolm X said, bamboozled and hoodwinked why the opposition party isn't doing it. That I can kind of understand why the governing party wouldn't. But that would, of course, be an admission that you're on the same side as the people not hiring Bermudians.
Yeah.
So you owe it to yourself to come out and say, this isn't good enough, you all.
I don't leave you much else to think about.
Well, it's just, they must agree there with the
of
results.
course,
No,
of
I know.
course.
Trust me, mate. I've been in long rabbit holes for 3 days. I
Right.
know. And I've read a whole heap of stuff. And particularly, there were government reports. Like I said, this is stuff, right? And just so you know, that stuff gets compiled, sent to somebody. They don't just check for spelling, right? They check for the stuff. So by the time it's published, right, you know it's accurate. It's
Right.
It's all of that.
But question for you: Does the results of these reports get talked about?
Well, that's the thing I'm coming to now, which the last groups, aside from the media and the political parties, would be the unions. But I literally, all I can tell you is that the labor minister was the president of one.
Okay.
And that might create loyalty that doesn't cause them to criticize, at least publicly where I could find,
Right.
the performance and the behaviors of what appears to be a lot of Bermudian employers, or say employers of businesses in Bermuda.
Gotcha.
I won't even label us like that. So I don't know, and it might be that the other union is it's so heavy, they've got to focus on their members, right? That there's enough drama with their members trying to make it making a bigger picture, right? Which brings me to the Bermuda First think tank. I've said it before,
Yeah.
right? So under the umbrella of it shouldn't be the Corey Butterfield show, right? There are any other people who could or should and be better poised to do this than us. Now, there's 3 more things I need to say. Okay? Number 1 is, and I can't stress this enough, and let me just say, if anybody is working with, related to, married to, anything whatsoever, please, on behalf of the Corey Butterfield Show, thank the civil servants and public officers who compiled this stuff.
Okay.
Really? I'm actually trying to say this politely.
Right.
Okay. Our public officers who have compiled the information that I have here today have been screaming at us.
Okay.
Screaming. Okay. Some of this stuff written is so strong, I forgot I was reading a Bermudian's words.
Oh, my.
They can't do. Okay? The public officers and the civil servants, they can seek out, they can gather, they can analyze, they can test assumptions, they can consider, they can write it up, they can report. But then what? It takes that political leader to look at that data that those professionals who care about us.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm telling you, I know that the civil servants and public, they get a tough time. And I'm not speaking for everybody, but I will tell you, thank you. Because without this information, I don't know what, and when I tell you they've been screaming.
Right.
They have been screaming about the state of our population, the state of Bermudian presence in Bermuda.
Yeah.
And we've not been, even if we've been reading the reports, there's been no forward motion to deal with what they have been screaming and continue to. So, on behalf of the Corey Butterfield Show, a big nerd like me, honestly, thank you. Thank you for the work you've done. I can't explain why the people who sit in offices do not act on it. Okay? And the two, that was three, I said three. Here's one, the second last one. And I actually wrote this so I get this part right. But in a racist society, and I'm not, I've said it about Bermuda many, many, many times. However, I would say that in any society that has one race or one persons or one people have privilege and the others do not. And so, yes, there's obviously some who don't have their privilege and others who don't, but on average they do, so I get it. But I'm just saying, in general, in a society where you have privilege, it's very likely that those two people, two races, two classes, two clans, two whatever it is, will see immigration, culture, demographics completely differently, and they'll have different interests. Okay? And so if you are a have and I'm a have not, we are going to see money differently. We are probably going to value money differently. Well, if you don't have the national pride, if you don't have the history of your country, if you don't have that thing inside that fights for Bermuda or Bermudians, well then, what do you think replaced that interest? The individual or the racist? Because, right, there's no other thing that binds us. We don't have the tea. Like we were talking about, like the cassava pie, right? And we were saying the English, no matter what their politics is, they all like tea.
Yes.
What's ours? Right? And this is when you would need that thing.
Right.
So that both Bermudians, all Bermudians, see and demand immigration to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Or foreigners or non-Bermudians or all of that. Right? We see it in the Bermudian interest.
Yes.
But we haven't. We don't have the Bermudian interest. Because we haven't created the national pride, because we haven't taught the culture and history to make us proud, to empower us as people. And so we now are facing, and ready for this one? I Googled crisis, the word crisis, and put in synonym, because I didn't want to use that word because what we're facing is far, far worse than a crisis. Like, if in politics you say we got a housing crisis, if you say we got a whatever crisis, we are facing or are in a catastrophe. We're not in crisis. We're in catastrophe. No two ways about it. It's not an exaggeration. It is what it is.
Right.
Okay, and believe me, I'm speaking like this because the data says it. I don't want this to be the reality. I don't want this to be the case. The data is crystal clear. And it is so bad that I know it was intentional. We have these numbers due to the intent of successive governments. There is no slowdown. Mm-hmm. There is no change in tact or direction depending on who a minister was or who a government was. Being Bermudian is getting hit by your own government. Being Bermudian today is taking a flogging from non-Bermudians. Okay? The data is going to prove that. Now, that, believe it or not, was just my disclaimer.
Oh, I was just getting in.
I know. I haven't begun yet.
Okay.
And so, to get into the data a bit,
right,
I have to read something that only occurred to me this morning, or I got this morning, and it was vital for today's show, for me, for me. So I'm going to take my little platform here if I can. Say something, man. I'm drinking water.
Wow.
Why you leave it there like that?
No.
Jesus, don't even know. Cut his mic. I ain't told him now. See, I can't stand that when people... All right. I am going to read you a story. It won't be long. But this was, and if anybody has seen this, because it is online, I found that quite a few people had reported on it, or reported it, and I Bermudanized it a bit. So I'm going to read it straight, and then I will Bermudianize it a bit. This was a speech given yesterday. In fact, the title says Special Address by Mark Carney, the Prime Minister of Canada. And this was at Davos at the World Economic Forum. And I'm not going to read, it was a long speech, but the excerpts that I thought were relevant, that's what I'm going to read out.
Okay. So
everything, I don't have to say, quote, this is all him, Carney. In 1978, the Czech dissident Václav Havel, later president, wrote an essay called The Power of the Powerless. And in it, he asked a simple question: how did the communist system sustain itself? And his answer began with a greengrocer. Every morning, the shopkeeper places a sign in his window. Quotes, "Workers of the world, unite." Okay, that's that communist rallying call, right? He doesn't believe in it. No one does. But he places the sign anyway to avoid trouble, to signal compliance, to get along. And because every shopkeeper on every street does the same, the system persists, not through violence alone, but through the participation of ordinary people in rituals they privately know to be false. Havel called this living within a lie. The system's power comes not from its truth, but from everyone's willingness to perform as if it were true. And its fragility comes from the same source. When even one person stops performing, when the greengrocer removes his sign, the illusion begins to crack. Friends, it's time for companies and countries to take their signs down. For decades, countries like Canada prospered under what we called the rules-based international order. We joined its institutions, we praised its principles, we benefited from its predictability. And because of that, we could pursue values-based foreign policies under its protection. We knew the story of international rules-based order was partially false, that the strongest would exempt themselves when convenient, that trade rules were enforced asymmetrically, and we knew that international law, applied with varied vigor, depended on the identity of the accused or the victim. The fiction was useful, and American hegemony, the superiority, in particular, helped provide public goods, open sea lanes, and a stable financial system, collective security, and support for frameworks for resolving disputes. So we placed the sign in the window. We participated in the rituals, and we largely avoided calling out the gaps between rhetoric and reality. This bargain no longer works. Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. You cannot live within the lie of mutual benefit through integration when integration becomes the source of your subordination. He then talks about Canada's assets. He goes on, and we have something else. We have a recognition of what's happening and a determination to act accordingly. We understand that this rupture calls for more than adaptation. It calls for honesty about the world as it is. We are taking the sign out of the window. We know the old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy, but we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just. This is the task of middle powers, the countries that have the most to lose from a world of fortresses and the most to gain from genuine cooperation. The powerful have their power, but we have something too. The capacity to stop pretending, to name reality, to build our strength at home, and to act together. That is Canada's path. We choose it openly and confidently, and it's a path wide open to any country willing to take it with us. Thank you very much. He is saying the old world order is changed. We participated in it, and we aren't going to participate anymore. I was working for a man who said, you break the rules, there are no rules. And when I asked him to explain, let's say you operate under 10 rules.
Right.
Our relationship, and you break rule 3. Do you think I'm keeping all the rules? You broke the one that was convenient for you, right?
Right.
You break the rule, a rule, there are no rules. Because then I pick the ones I want to break, you pick the ones. You see what I'm saying? So,
right.
I want to Bermudanize this a bit. And he says, for decades, countries like Canada prospered under what we call the rules-based international order, right? They did all of that. Let me swap around. He says, we knew the story of international rules-based was partially false. That the strongest exempt themselves from the rules, that trade rules were enforced depending on whatever. So let me Bermudanize it. We knew this story about businesses caring about hiring Bermudians was partially false. We knew that Bermudians had to train their replacements or even their bosses. That Bermudians struggle with housing courses while foreigners get housing allowances. And that immigration rules favored non-Bermudians and PRCs and not Bermudians. But that fiction was useful. So we, Bermudians, placed the sign in the window. We participated in the rituals. We trained the foreigner. We didn't complain that they were getting paid more than we did for doing the same job. We didn't complain they'd been hired to be our boss, even though they didn't know our job. We participated because we were told Bermuda was in a global economy.
Yes.
Okay, and the best of the best and all of that. And it said we participated in rituals. We largely avoided calling out the gaps between rhetoric and reality. The unions did not protest all of these construction workers at St. Regis, at Southern Princess, at DeLorean, right? Everybody went along because it helped the country, so we were told, succeed.
Yeah.
Well, the country, Bermuda, is succeeding. Bermudians, the people, are not. So, you cannot live within the lie of mutual benefit, so it's good for the business and good for the Bermudian citizen, through immigration and global participation when immigration becomes the source of my subordination. And then, let's be clear, we are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. We understand this rupture calls for more than adaptation. It calls for honesty about Bermuda as it is. We believe nostalgia is not a strategy, but we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, and more just for Bermudians.
Yes.
This is Bermudians' path. We choose it openly. Or maybe I should say the Corey Butterfield Show path. We choose it openly and confidently, and there's a path wide open to any Bermudian willing to take it with us. Thank you very much.
Yes. That is something.
This Canadian Prime Minister is saying we played along.
Yes.
Because the sort of ends justified the means.
Right.
Okay? We knew it wasn't perfect, but everybody prospered under a rules-based international law system.
Yes.
However, that system is clearly no longer. Right. If NATO is fighting within themselves, right? If you can slap tariffs, and he talks about tariffs and also in the rest of the speech. But if you can do that to your commercial partners, then what's the order? What's the new world order? What is it? Right? And so we have, in Bermuda, played along with immigration. We've accepted every type of insult to our dignity that we needed to because we were told.
Yeah.
This is a global economy. It's you're competing with all that nonsense. We've been along. You know what? I'll tell you what, Billy. Let's take a quick call. Hi, caller. You on the air?
Yes, and good afternoon to you. I just had a short thing to say, but I think very pertinent, and that is, I made up my mind, and I told anybody who was put in a position of if they mentioned to me that they were going to train somebody who was going to either be working alongside of them or be their boss, that if you're good enough, you either got to get the job or get the raise.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
If I'm training somebody to be my boss, then that means I could do it.
Yep.
Because if not, then you should be the one trainer.
Yeah.
And I said flatly,
Okay.
I was not hired to be a trainer or a manager. If you want me to train somebody, then you're giving me managerial responsibilities. So then the pay has to match it.
Okay.
Yeah. But of course, many people don't quite think the same. Anyhow, have a good day.
Thanks a lot. You too.
Sir.
All right. So, that speech by Carney, I think actually raises Canada's profile. Right.
Right.
They're saying we did what we had to do to prosper because everybody prospered, and so here, right? I suppose our reinsurance industry is top because they attracted top talent. I don't know why DNC Grill and Seahorse Grill, Seaside have work permits. You see where I'm going?
Yes,
here?
I see where you're going.
Yep. So there's a lot we're going to get into, and it's going to be today and tomorrow. I'm looking at the time now, Billy.
Right.
It's definitely going to be today and tomorrow because I haven't even touched this, and we will. So I think what is probably a good idea, mate. Yeah.
Well, already this is resonating with a lot of experiences that I have seen. Okay? So I'm very interested to see where this red's going. Trust me.
No problem, man.
We'll be right back with more of the Corey Butterfield Show here on Magic 102.7 FM.
waiting for the rest of this. Am I all right?
All right.
Am I all right?
So, for people who like looking up information or they want to know the reports that I'm going to be using, one is, well, there are three that are identical, but they're for different years. So the first one is population projections, 2000 to 2030. These are all Bermuda government documents, so you should be able to find them on gov.bm. So population projections, 2000 to 2030. The next one is population projections, 2010 to 2020. And the third is population projections, 2016 to 2026. But those were all forecasts and projections. So the document I hold those against is the 2024 Digest of Statistics. So
that makes it pretty relevant for the census that's coming up. Is it this year?
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That should be a great comparison.
I was going to say, I really, really, really hope a lot of people can participate and do participate in the census, because I can tell you, the data is vital. And I want to say that the data ought to be driving some of the policies, some of the laws, some of the behaviors. I'm not entirely sure that happens. I'm not. But let's get straight in it. I want to, before we go anymore, to give you a rough idea of how we're facing. I want you to hear this, Willie. This is the potential or projected employment from 2025 to 2030.
You said employment?
Indeed. Mm-hmm. Okay, the workforce. And it's here in the projections. So let me just, this is not jobs, sorry, this is people.
Okay.
Okay. So in the 5 years between 2025 and 2030, it is expected that the white Bermudian population will increase by 301. It is expected that the Bermudian black population will decrease by 456. So the black population, this is projections.
Right.
Okay. The black population to go down by 400, black Bermudian, population.
Okay.
To decrease by 456 people, while the white Bermudian population is due to increase by 301. Got me?
Yeah, got you.
Of the non-Bermudian population, the white non-Bermudian population in that same time frame is due to gain 5 people.
Okay.
And the non-Bermudian black population is due to lose 127. Let me give you those numbers again. White Bermudian and white non-Bermudian are due to increase 301 and 5, respectively.
Okay.
So by 2030, be 301 more white Bermudians and 5 more white non-Bermudians. In that same time frame, there will be 456 fewer black Bermudians and 127 fewer black non-Bermudians. Of course, the question you're asking yourself is what I ask myself, and I don't know the answer. How is it that the same thing happens to the same race, not the same nationality, in the country of the nationality? I get it.
Yeah.
Like I tell you, there's no good news today.
Right.
You think that's bad. I start with that, so at least you get an understanding really of how deep we're going today.
Well, I'm going to tell you something.
I'm listening.
I'm thinking of something already to ask you, but I will wait.
Shoot. No, you probably shouldn't. I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll write it down. If I have the answer now, if not, I'll do it later. Or if I suggest I answer later. But no, fire.
There is a feeling about CARICOM in this country.
You may want to hold on to that one.
Okay, that's what I was telling you.
I think you were right.
Okay.
I think you were right. Yeah, you were right. So the this is, again, projections, right? So, and by the way, this is for the years 2000 to 2030, but the report was compiled and published in 2006.
Right.
Not 1999. Okay, so we had 6 years of the millennium, and then these forecasts were made.
Mm-hmm.
Got me?
Yeah.
All right. So the other, a few more. The percentage of black young people will decline from 21% to 17% by 2030. The persons aged 25 to 44, they will reduce from 32% to 24%. And I could go on with the percentages. But overall, they're saying the black population will remain constant at 37,000 by 2030. I'm not sure. The white population will rise in that same period from 25,000 to 29,000. The proportion of white people and the young group will slip, just like in Bermuda, black population, because of the aging population, no matter the race.
Right.
The dependencies are also going to change. So the Bermudian, that was the overall population. You thought I was talking about Bermudian, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Ooh.
The Bermudian population is expected to increase from 49,000 to 51,000 by 2030. So we should 2,000 people in 30 years. It's an assumption. And of course, all of the dependencies will go from young to older. The non-Bermudian population is due to increase by 1,000. The median age of the non-Bermudian population will go up, but the youth dependency will go up, and ours as Bermudians, it goes down. The reason is, I believe, the non-Bermudians that come here come at a certain age to work and to carry on.
Yeah.
And so they get replaced by other people roughly of that age.
Yes.
Okay. We're still in the report. Do you have any questions? Because we're moving on to a slightly different section about fertility.
My mind's all over the place.
Well,
I'm thinking about immigration and the policies involved, and my mind's all over the place.
You need a crayon and a piece of paper?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Fertility rates.
Yes.
In 1950, the birth rate was 30.4 per 1,000 people. Okay? So for every 1,000 people, 30 babies.
Yes.
By 2000, it plummeted to 13.5. From 30 to 13.
Yeah, I mean, making some babies, man.
Right? That, between 1950 and 2000, is down to, they have a nice word, family planning.
You know something?
Yes, Willie.
When you consider that the government at the time, particular government at the time, was talking about closing down schools, it was for that very reason that it was a decline in actual students at that age group coming through the system.
So do you think, huh? Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. In 1970, Bermuda had 1,062 live births.
Okay.
10 years later, 807.
Yeah.
Okay, our birth rate went from 20.3 to 14.9 in that decade of the 70s.
So during that period, if it was such a decline, you would think that that would be investigated, or a search would be done to see, well, what made it that way.
Mm-hmm. And it was a clap. I mean, seriously. So 70, that's my decade, right? I was literally born in 70.
Mm-hmm.
The 80, the only thing I can think is that a lot of people, I'll say my parents, they had me. Mm-hmm. And then, why in the world? They try again and get my brother. So I understand being satisfied with one. I mean, hey. Anyway, all right. But let me read what it says in the report.
Okay.
By 1980, the women in Bermuda had been exposed to the major cultural, socioeconomic, and medical factors that influence childbearing. Mm. Like many Western societies, Bermuda experienced a shift in social values associated with childbearing and child rearing. Now, the focus is on responsible parenthood, and more is not always considered better. Greater emphasis is placed on nurturing high-quality, well-educated children, even at the expense of reduced fertility. In 2000, it was a norm for families to have 2 children. It was a decline from 2.8 children in 1991 to 2.4 in 2000. One of the factors contributed to the relatively small families is I'll tell you what, you haven't read it, just take a guess what you think I'm about to say is one of the factors that contributes to the relatively small families. Just take a guess.
Cost of living.
There you go, the high cost and standard of living. That's what, remember they were shouting?
Yes.
It's 2006.
Jesus Lord.
This report was written in 2006.
Just 20 years ago.
In Bermuda, affordable housing is rare, and this affects the desired family size. Remember I told you civil servants were shouting at us?
Yes.
Can you believe they wrote that?
Yes, I can.
I know, but they wrote this.
But
You look like you gave. I'm got your back. Yeah, you say it.
I'm
got your back.
Well, listen. We study trends and we put it out in reports, and this is something in the national interest that should have been said, and we should have been made aware of it.
Like I said.
Not only that, it don't stop there. It's about having a policy, right, to increase our population. Now we find ourselves here. Everything's about population now. You open up the paper, and there it is, right in front of you. You can't ignore it. Now I'm understanding why and how it got here. Are we going to do any better? We would need to.
Yep.
Because as you look, it's a certain demographic of a population that is going down. It ain't coming up. I used the word earlier. It was called extinction.
Mm-hmm.
How much?
I told you, wait. I told you, hold on.
No, but
I'm still telling you, hold on.
How much further are we going to go before it gets to a point where, hey, we got Bermudians who are emigrating?
Sorry, Billy. Let me just kick you in here because I'm worried. Listen.
Yeah.
This is still the forecast.
Oh, jeez, Lord.
I haven't given you the actual numbers.
Corey, give it to me.
No. I don't have them. No. I'm just saying I have a plan for the show, but I'm trying to get it.
Right.
This is still just the foundation.
Okay.
This is what the data was showing the experts in 06.
Can I be honest with you?
I would hope
From
this is not
what
the
I'm
first
hearing,
time.
I can't even take this.
I know. And I'm just warming up.
So if I leave, don't feel no way. I'll be back.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
Okay.
I got you. Like I said, I got your back. The childbearing patterns in the country changed due to an increased labor force participation rate. In 1970, women were 63% of the workforce, and in 2000, a record high of 80.
Okay.
That's more women working than men.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, that would do it. But the reason for them working is what? Is it because of professional schooling? Was it because...
They're saying the social shifts that happened in Bermuda that women decided to have children later. And so you're going to see some actuals for that too.
Okay.
But what was happening was women were... I'll tell you what, let's try it this way. Let's say that back in the day, there were secretaries, not executive assistants or receptionists, right? So you're a receptionist.
Okay.
But then your daughter comes to you after school, and the daughter, is picked up by somebody there who's a manager, office manager, and they give them stuff in envelopes or something to do.
Right.
The daughter gets a little bit more in the firm than the mother, just from as a child, right? They just do different things.
Right.
But something gets triggered where that child now wants to be a lawyer, an accountant, a controller, an actuary, whatever it is,
Yes.
a bookkeeper. And so that child now, their educational thing doesn't look to stop at 16 when they graduate from high school, but to go get the qualification needed to then have that career.
Yeah.
There are women who haven't made that decision who'll be having children between those years that other woman is studying.
Okay.
Okay, so the delay of having children and what that's something. Actually, I could read it out, but I thought that was a shorter version. More women aspire for higher education and professional careers, which results in them opting to delay marriage and children. This trend is substantiated by the 2000 census, which reported mothers starting their families later and completing their fertility earlier. Cool. So they're saying that that's a lot where it's come from. Now, the total fertility rate is something else that's come up, and this is where this was a little difficult. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, as a universal, I'm reading. As a universal convention, a woman should have on average 2.1 children to replace herself and her partner and to account for infant mortality. So basically, like I was saying, two people have two children that replace, but because some children might not come to be born, 2.1 in the society will take care of those in terms of replacement theory.
Yes.
It is wrong. In 2000, I'll tell you what, somebody is calling and calling. I'm not really taking calls, but I'm going to take this one. Hello, caller.
Well, thanks for taking my call, Buzville and William. I just want to ask you a question. I heard you mentioning the population of Bermuda. Is that up to date now, or is something from way back? If you could give me the population of Bermuda now, and also the population of the expats. If you have that up to date. I thought I might have heard you saying that, but I don't know if it was up to date to today, 26 or 25.
No, it was not. But the latest we had was something around 63,350 in 2023.
Okay, so how many?
I'll get to the rest of it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not taking any more calls today. Thanks. So the total fertility rate that's the overall for Bermudians.
Right.
Okay. In 2000, it was 1.74. And that was influenced by black Bermudian women because the black Bermudian woman's total fertility rate was 1.7. But their white counterparts was 1.28.
Okay.
Okay? So black women were having more children, which was affecting our fertility rate positively.
Okay.
Okay? But at 1.74, that's not enough for Bermudians to replace ourselves.
Okay.
Let me read the sentence. These are two sentences. In 2000, Bermuda's total fertility rate, TFR, was 1.74, and it was influenced primarily by black Bermudian women who had a TFR of 1.7, while the rate for their white counterparts was 1.28. In layperson's terms, this means that Bermudian couples were having insufficient children to replace themselves. Remember I told you they were shouting?
Yeah.
How else could this person say this to us? Like the word you were trying to say all this time?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's about other countries that have sub-replacement level fertility. Fertility rates vary according to the age of women. Irrespective of Bermudian status, the highest age-specific fertility rates for black women was in the 20 to 24 age group, while the white counterparts peaked at the 30 to 34 age category. Between the ages of 25 and 29, black and white Bermudian mothers were equal.
Okay.
Black women, having slightly younger, were equal in 25 to 29. White women are having later.
Oh.
Okay. In 2000, white, non-Bermudian women recorded a below replacement level fertility rate of 1.90. Let me just remind you what I just read. Okay, so the replacement level is 2.1.
Yes.
Okay, to replace Bermudians. So we need couples to have 2 children, and some have 3, and some have 6. But okay, you need more than 2.
Averages out to 2.1.
Okay, and so ours was 1.74.
Right.
Right. I've just read that white non-Bermudians, they also were not making 2.1.
Okay.
But the number I said, and I'll read it, white non-Bermudian women recorded, I'll skip that, a fertility rate of 1.9. But their level was higher than that for white and black Bermudians.
Oh, okay.
White white non-Bermudian women were having children at rates higher than white or black Bermudian women.
Okay. Yeah.
Got me?
Yeah, I got you.
In contrast,
Right.
black non-Bermudians recorded the highest fertility rate of 2.59, which is above replacement level.
That's serious, you know.
What's serious? So the black non-Bermudians here, if, and I'll make an assumption, if they are from countries in which the dollar isn't on par with the U.S.,
Right.
then the money made here allows such a lifestyle there that you can have a healthy child born in Bermuda,
Yes.
in a modern, all of that, blah, 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 and to the level beyond replacement in a foreign country.
Yeah.
These babies are being held, borns are in Bermuda.
Yes.
Non-Bermudians are outstripping Bermudians
Yes.
in terms of babies. Okay, I'll go on. In 2000, what I'm trying to get at is the thing I said earlier
Right.
about the population. So how is it black non-Bermudians are having more babies than everybody else, but they're also going to have a fall in population?
Yeah.
This is the same report, that said
Right.
this.
Right. Got you. But
Any guesses?
no, I don't.
Racism. You can't think of any guess. Racism. Why black non-Bermudians will be having children but won't be in racism in Bermuda? What would cause people to have children in Bermuda, racism, and yet not be here, but white people who are not having replacement level are here?
Well, I can think of racism.
Shh, what?
I
Wait, what did Carney say about that? I think I read
want to say
something.
too, racism. I'm going to say it.
Okay.
And the other thing will be the cost of living.
Yep.
No, what you
The life expectancy under life expectancy is going to continue to rise,
Right.
and because of that, it's always going to have an aged population
Yes.
because people are going to live longer. Got me?
Yes.
Strap in. In 2000, life expectancy at birth for the total population ranged from 73 years for black males to 82 years for white females. No? Okay, I'll keep going. Life expectancy for black females was 2.57 years shorter than white females. Similarly, life expectancy for black males was 5.69 years younger than white males, placing black males at the bottom of the mortality ladder. The life expectancy at birth for Bermudian blacks and non-Bermudian blacks were very similar. Comparisons between the white non-Bermudian and the white Bermudian populations revealed that on average, white non-Bermudians have higher life expectancies regardless of gender. I wonder what system produces that.
Well, you know something?
Yes, Willie.
I'm starting to think so much things. Number one, access to health care.
Yep.
It's so many factors that go into longevity of life and the maintenance of a healthy environment.
So why is it that non-Bermudians are having more babies? This environment seems to work for them.
Of course.
Why is that?
Well, they may come from, like you said, areas that they're not used to making the money that they do.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing you. But white and black non-Bermudians are doing it better than Bermudians
Well,
in Bermuda.
well, we need to start making some babies. Yeah.
Oh yeah, mate, that's the least of our. Listen,
Boy.
future trends. In the future, it is assumed that the Bermudian fertility level will remain below replacement level until 2030. In contrast, the non-Bermudian level will remain above replacement level. These assumptions are based on an average of the 2000 to 2004 fertility rates. Remember, this report was done in 2006.
Right.
They looked at all the data from 2000 to 2004 and came up with these assumptions. Okay, so what's happening, I read this on Monday, but I'll read this section.
Right.
And I don't quite know why the author did use European, but here's the paragraph. In fact, I'll just read these three paragraphs, almost all of the third paragraph. Almost every European country has encouraged couples to have children by providing various incentives, such as generous family leave and child allowances. These benefits are given to families with a specified number of children, regardless of the parent's income. The Bermuda government has not advocated a pro-natalist policy. Therefore, it is unlikely that the Bermudian fertility level will rise to replacement level by 2030. A public officer, civil servant, wrote that the government has, and it's a true fact, the government doesn't have policies to encourage families, children. They don't.
Right.
And so, as a result, what I keep saying, where's the intervention, right? Say for the inequality or the intervention, where's the intervention so that we're not facing your word? In contrast, the projected trend is that the non-Bermudian population will attain replacement level fertility partly because they have a higher fertility level. This may be explained by the increasing proportion of Muslim and Catholic immigrants whose faith does not endorse the use of birth controls. In developed countries, continued low fertility rates will result in immigration bearing an increasing share or even all growth of population change as the number of births decreases. This statement is particularly relevant in Bermuda, where migration is the main component of population increase. Bermuda's future migration levels are dependent largely on the growth and diversification of the economy and the educational aspirations of Bermudians. If the economy continues to grow, the number of non-Bermudians may increase.
Okay.
What that all says is that in countries facing what we're facing, so take Cayman. If anybody gets into this work and looks up Cayman, Cayman addressed their population issue with lightning fast policies that diluted being a Caymanian. Now, for the country of Cayman, that was great. The country will continue to work for those who need different places to invest their money.
Got you.
Much like us. But like I said, if we want a thriving, prosperous Bermuda with a enslaved, starving, and oppressed Bermudians, we're on the path.
Yes.
We are on the path. The non-Bermudian is having more children in Bermuda than Bermudians, black or white.
Wow. This is I would call this sobering.
Between 2000 and 2030, the total fertility rate for Bermuda's women is expected to decline from 1.74 to 1.736 during the same period. The black fertility rate is expected to decline from 1.75 to 1.725, while the white fertility rate will rise from 1.573 to 1.66. You heard that?
Yeah, I heard that.
A comparison between the Bermudian and non-Bermudian fertility rate shows the Bermudian fertility pattern falling by 2030 as the rate for their non-Bermudian counterparts is climbing.
Yeah.
Bermuda's not working for Bermudians.
Yeah.
There's a chart here with the actual rates here. It's tough. It's tough to see. I'm telling you. And so, yeah, we need to have more babies for sure. But if people aren't having babies because of the cost of living, what's having more babies going to do?
Exactly.
There's a chart here It's table 5, if anybody's been following along, I don't know. But the life expectancy at birth by race, sex, and Bermudian status. And I'm going to give you the actual ones. This is from 2000, right? I'm not even 2030. That's projected. 2010 has also passed, but this report was written in 06. So I'm going to give you what they had as actual data. Okay. The male Bermudian population has an average life expectancy of 74.5 years. Okay? You take the Bermudian male population has an average of 74.5 years.
Yes.
The white male, 77.95. And the black male, 73. So you get to 74 because white males have a 6-year longer life expectancy than the black male.
Yes.
Okay? The black female has a life expectancy of 79.4, which is still under white males. It is also under white females, whose expectancy is 81.33. So the black Bermudian female's life expectancy, 79.44. This is in 2000. The white female's, 81.33. Just so you know, there isn't a single non-Bermudian whose life expectancy comes under black Bermudian males.
Okay.
And for those who think, race gets highlighted, or I'm reading the government reports about this, and so our deaths are exceeding our births. Our guest workers are having more children than us.
Yeah.
The cost of living is causing both emigration, people to leave,
Yes.
and people to not have babies.
Yeah.
Have you?
It's all decline. And it's going to continue. That's the thing. It's going to get worse.
The problem I really had. So let's just look at this for a minute. The growth rate. Okay, so this is the difference between births and deaths. And they have assumptions. Well, they go back every 5 years. So 2000, 2005, 2005, 2010, 10 to 15, 15, 20, 20, right? And they go up to 2030. The total growth rate in Bermuda is going to be negative between 2025 and 2030. That was the presumption. It is negative. It is negative. And in the black community, it was going to be negative from 2015 to 2030, minus 0.06 and growing, minus 0.15 and minus 0.28. Whereas the white community is increasing.
Yeah.
The question is, where is the intervention from powers that be looking out for the Bermudian population? In fact, what you've heard is the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you. Yeah. I'm just thinking. I will get to CARICOM.
Okay.
I hope I get to CARICOM.
Yes,
after
absolutely.
This. If we are having, I would say, this major challenge.
Catastrophe
Yeah. Okay.
is my
catastrophe.
word. Thank you.
Definitely something should be in the pipeline to address it. That's number one, or to encourage families to grow and to, I would say, put more people in the garden. Okay.
I was going to save this to read, but I think it's probably best I read this report and put this report down and then move on to the next one.
Okay.
Future implications for Bermuda. Remember, this report was written in 2006.
Okay.
The past 50 years witnessed a shift in the demographic profile of Bermuda's population. In the future, two major phenomena will dominate. First, Bermuda's population will continue to grow slowly. And second, there will be a shift in the island's age structure as the population continues to age. Bermuda's evolving demographic profile will have fewer children, an older workforce, and more elderly. Once a relatively small segment of Bermuda's population, the older residents are now an expanding portion of the population. According to the United Nations, if fewer than 4% of a country's population is 60 and over, or 65 and over, it is young. 4 to 7% of elderly persons represents a mature population.
Right.
And more than 7% is an aged population. As early as 1950, Bermuda progressed into the mature stage with 6% of its population 65 years or older. By 1980, Bermuda's age structure was considered to be aged, with 9% of its population 65 years and older. In 2000, Bermuda's elderly population increased to 11%, and by 2030, it is anticipated to represent 22% of the total population. This is the result of high fertility in the past and rising life expectancies in the future. As a result, Bermuda's graying population will be one of the greatest challenges facing Bermuda in the 21st century. In the future, the needs of the elderly will undoubtedly shift public policy and the provision of public and private services. Finding care providers for seniors will become a more pressing challenge than finding babysitters as the population continues to age. More retirement facilities and senior citizen daycare programs will also be required.
Yeah. Immigration. As it relates to immigration, as the population gets older, we're going to need younger people to be employed doing the various jobs. Not only that, that has implications for pension, the economics, the revenue, you name it. We're going to need people. That brings me to CARICOM. There are people who are for CARICOM and there are people who are against. I don't understand why people would be against CARICOM when, in fact, when you look at CARICOM, black people would be more hired from Caribbean countries than there are under us going under CARICOM. But all along, we have been employing a number of Europeans to be here.
Absolutely. So the question is really, and then we'll go because this is the Corey Butterfield Show.
Yeah.
Do you think the racist in Bermuda doesn't know that?
Of course he does.
Okay, so let's just be colloquial here and just say, I think that black Bermudians are more likely to marry and have children with black Caribbean and West Indian people rather than Asian people from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and the Philippines. Personally, that's just anecdotally what I would think.
I agree.
So if you wanted to ensure the black population did not increase,
they wouldn't have access.
No. If you don't want the black population to increase, how do you populate the country with workers who will not stay and have children? With black Bermudians?
Well, you bring in white people.
Good God, Billy, that's not... That comment was Willie. That was not me. Be clear.
I say that on a public... We're having a conversation.
Yes, babe, but that wasn't what you hadn't set the foundation before you say that. I merely said just now that I think black Bermudians are more likely to have babies with people who are from the West Indies and the Caribbean rather than Asia.
Well, I skipped the formalities.
Mate, as long as people realize who was who.
Yeah, I said it.
I know, not a problem. So what I'm getting at, ultimately, if you brought up CARICOM, and so what I'm saying, do you think CARICOM, leave aside, do you think that the people, should we import people from CARICOM, and should we import people from Asia, who do you think is more likely to add to the black population? People from Asia or people from CARICOM?
CARICOM.
Exactly. So I'm not saying rah, CARICOM. I do principally, deeply believe we should be a member of CARICOM, a full-on member. I don't think we need to do it in the next year because I definitely should be CARICOM, but there's strategy. And I didn't say CARICOM ASAP.
No,
you know what I mean? Would be silly to, and let me not.
Well, I would say this. We have some things to work out as far as CARICOM is concerned, okay? Yeah, we have some things really to say about. We need to be educated more.
I'll leave you on that. I don't, but that's you, and I'll give you that. Cool,
Right.
That's not a problem. But the last thing, sorry, in that I thought I read this. Sorry, I've just found something else, Billy. No, I'll leave that here. I'll come back to that.
Okay.
So the point is, imagine you're a racist Bermudian, right? Not just your average, like you really think that you're going to lose stuff, or black people are going to take your stuff, or whatever your stuff, your influence, your privilege, your power, your money, your whatever it is
Gotcha.
that you have. Remember, you're racist. You're not
Right.
just Then if you see CARICOM
Right.
and you see Asia, what would you decry? You decry CARICOM
Yes.
because it's just straight biology.
Yeah.
And here we are. And so without an intervention to do the replacement, Bermudians as a whole are having fewer babies than the non-Bermudians in the country. White Bermudians are having more babies than black Bermudians.
Yeah. Elementary.
So the Bermudian and you and I, mate, they haven't even bothered to put the rung on the ladder for you and I. Black males, black Bermudian males, the lowest this, the lowest that, the lowest the other. Okay?
Yeah.
But here's the part, really.
What's that?
How is it that black non-Bermudians and black Bermudians populations are due to drop so far, and yet the white population is due to increase?
That is the question.
That is the question. Okay, and let me tell you, I was looking at some of the drops to figure out what happened. Right? Was there something going on during these times or this year? Right? To explain it. So let me ask you: can you think of anything in particular? So here's the numbers. By decade. So we had 1,062 babies in 1970, 807 by 1980. So it's a massive drop. But 1991, back up to 893. So from 807 to 893, and then dropped 838 in 2000, and dropped 769 in 2010, and dropped to 591 by 2016. And I just said 425 for 2024.
Yeah.
So the 70s was the last decade of full-figure babies being born. 1,000 babies.
Wow.
We're down to 425.
The 600?
I'm trying to figure that out. A year, not just 600 over, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Something happened.
That's very interesting.
And of course, that impacted our growth rates. And it's so interesting because I had another page and I actually wrote the actuals down to the forecasted.
Question for you. Would family planning come into that?
So I don't know if you're using that phrase technically, like look it up in the dictionary, or if you're being,
But
a
the
bit.
idea of family planning, was that a factor?
I don't know.
No, in other words, being prepared to have children.
Oh, right. I don't think from everything I've seen here, I can't figure out why it was such a collapse, because it feels that it was specific. In other words, somebody, some group, I'm struggling here because I know what I want to say and I'm trying to say it diplomatically.
Okay.
You cannot have such a collapse on one race without it being intentional.
Okay.
Okay? And even still now, when other Bermudians are rising,
Yes.
against us, falling against non-Bermudians. So what is it? Well, the closest I can come to this, and mate, boy, I can't believe I'm about to say this on air. I know how to do it. If you talk to men older than me, particularly who are into politics and policy, so they are aware of the country that they live in and we live in. They will tell you that white business went after the black family. And so I read a statistic earlier about the participation of women in the workforce. Okay? It was 63% in 1970 and 80% in 2000. So is it that the not brand new, but the thing of becoming a career woman hit the black community stronger than the white community because of the wealth of the white community? So the women didn't need to work, the wives and the mothers. And whereas in the black community, perhaps that incentive to work or the other thing impacted the decision to have children far greater than it did in the white community. Right? I had a discussion about this earlier today. And I was, in fact, talking to my brother. My mother had 11 brothers and sisters. My father had 2 brothers. If 2 people get together, like, how many children should they have? Should it have been the average of 3 and 12? Like, did they let the country down by not having 5 children? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or me and my brother letting the country down by, how many children are we supposed to have?
So you're saying higher education and careers had an effect.
The report says that these were choices.
Right.
That choices were made due to women entering the workforce and delayed childbearing because of entering the workforce and, getting qualifications. So they were saying that they're having children late, but being done with fertility sooner. So, in other words, they aren't having children 6 or 7 years after the first one. They're done with fertility earlier. So the difference, say, between my mom, who was the second youngest child, and her oldest brother was quite a spread.
I can see something happening. I have a godchild, love her to death. She's chosen a lifestyle for herself. Number one, she's highly educated. Right? She's an actuary. And her girls and her just go off to Dubai basically for a weekend. And they come back. And they got this lifestyle going and they're very happy with it. Because what it provides...
I'm sorry, mate. We said girls are friends.
Yeah, girls are
I thought you meant her children. So I'm sorry, her and her girls. I'm sorry.
They go off to Dubai for basically a weekend. Say 5 days, 6 days. And they come back. So it provides them... she doesn't have any children. I asked the other day, your biological clock is running. You're not planning on...
Boy, you're braver than me. I can't. Jesus.
But I have this relationship with her, so it's a fair question. Compared to what she asks me. You will be surprised.
Loud and clear.
But, right now, she doesn't even have a boyfriend. So...
right now, you got a lot of guys just going to hold on. She's got money like that. What's her name, Emily? Just give me the parish. I'll find her. You better take it easy. Your godchild will pull you up tonight.
All you need to do is...
No. I wouldn't let her hear it. I protected you, godchild. I want you to know I'm the one that wouldn't even let that be heard.
No, but I can say, that's her choice. But at the same token, how many women, and I tell you, she goes with her girls, and they're all the same. They don't have any children. They're living a lifestyle that they're able to go and come as they like, and they're happy with it. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that. But the bigger picture is they're not planning on having families.
No, but that's on us.
Well,
that's not on them.
Well, I'm just saying.
No. Wait a minute. What I'm saying, if you meet a woman, and she doesn't change your lifestyle having met you, you ain't that sharp.
Perhaps.
No, definite. No, definite. So what I'm trying to tell you is those women are doing what they wish to, can do, and want to, because we And I'm saying we Bermudian males,
Yes.
in that particular crew, assuming they don't have boyfriends,
Right.
we've not impressed them. We've not let them know we're worthy of having a child and whatever. I don't want to sound like I'm 70, but providing and doing the rest.
Yes, I'm not arguing for or against. I'm just presenting.
No, I know, but I'm just saying the choice isn't always
I got
based on them. It's
Right.
what's on the shelf.
Yes.
I have a little bit of experience with this.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I know. I'm not even saying she's shopping.
Right.
But I'm just saying what's on the shelf might
Yes.
not be all that appealing.
I got
And that's on us. That's not on them.
I got you.
All right, Billy. I'm going to go there.
Good.
You're
That's
telling
good.
me that you were 18, 19.
Right.
You didn't meet a woman, a girl, however you wish to call it.
Right.
And then she ended up telling you, I've never even done this before. I'm never even called. You in my mind, like, I'm never even thought of God. Yeah, that's never. You ain't. I need a new co-host if you ain't that sharp.
Hey, I was shocked.
I know that about you.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say,
Right.
is that they are taking those trips and doing those things because,
Right.
not because, sorry,
Right.
but I'm just saying clearly, there isn't someone who is saying, let's take this trip to Dubai.
I agree.
And so that's on us. That's not
Okay,
on them.
yeah,
we
I agree.
got to step up. The fellas are not looking sharp at all.
But at the same time, I was just emphasizing the type of life that they have chosen for themselves. When I say chosen, because of the dynamics, right? Whatever they may be, they have decided to do what they're doing.
Yes.
And they're happy with that lifestyle.
And let me tell you, I'd much rather they do that than sit here lonely and miserable saying, I ain't got no man, I wish I had a man, I wish I had a man.
Yes.
So please, travel far and wide.
Yes.
Right? Just don't marry a non-Bermudian, please.
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes.
Please still come back to us.
Yes.
Please. I know we're not worth it, but we'll get there.
Yes.
Because the fellas, we're not doing our part, really. I'm telling you.
Well,
I've talked to enough, but I talked to some fathers of some
young men.
girls in the
Young
some
girls?
Bermudian, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then I've spoken to some of the girls. I've said, mate, it's
But at the same time, we know some young men, they choose to do or live a lifestyle other than what promotes family living or promotes bringing families.
what time? I've still got 7 minutes. Can we get this man off the air today? I got to get you off the air, really, because you're good. You're good in some. You mean the gang lifestyle?
It could be that too. It's not just the gang.
The
lifestyle.
violence, the antisocial lifestyle.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. That's what you were getting at, right? Yeah, I know. That's what you get. Yeah, the violence that doesn't allow you to build a family because you're not sure who's outside on your porch. Got you. I need you to get off the air today.
Well, we're having this discussion.
Yes, we
okay.
well, we are and we're not. I mean, I'm having a conversation. You're having something else. I don't know what's going on. You looking for targets or I don't know. But what I've told you, and let me say, I haven't even gotten to the real yet. This is still the forecast, okay? And that's why I was telling you earlier. I wanted that disclaimer.
Yes.
Okay? I need to big up the public officers and civil servants who have been compiling this information.
Yeah, big up.
And what I'm saying is, imagine, right? You hand in some of this stuff.
Right.
And you may find it interesting, or some of our listeners might find it interesting to work out which ministry statistics actually comes under. Because then you'd be able to see the ministry and the minister and how the data is dealt with.
Right.
Right? If at all. And I have to say it again. I read some powerful stuff from some civil servants that were screaming from Gibbs Hill Lighthouse. They had a megaphone on Fort Hamilton. They were up St. David's Lighthouse saying, hello, everybody. Please.
Yes.
But they have no power to implement anything, a policy, a law, an incentive.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Got you.
And the facts are the facts. We're
Yes.
going down. And I just also wanted to just deal with Carney, the Prime Minister from Canada. We've tried, what I'm trying to get at,
Right.
I haven't given you any forecast, okay, that is worse than the reality. Let me say that differently.
Right.
Everything I've read today was either real because it came after '06,
Yes.
or it was a forecast.
Yes.
Every forecast that was made, we are worse off. Every last one. So I didn't even give you that yet. Tomorrow we're going to
Delve more into that.
Okay, and the reason why or I feel to do this is because there's a word called platitudes, and there's a lot of spin. And I used to be a spin doctor. I get it.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff out there, and the data is not about what balance of payments or GDP,
Okay.
or blades of grass or grains of sand or how many bottles we recycle. No, these are Bermudians, black, white, mixed another, and non-Bermudians. In fact, I forgot to say one administrative thing. Every time in these old documents, they compare black with white mixed another, and our numbers match or are greater than. In other words, black Bermudians and the choices black Bermudians make are the choices that affect this country.
Yes.
That's data. That's not pride or racism or reverse racism or affirmative action. It is what it is. And yeah.
What I can appreciate, and to this, I'm grassroots. I believe in talking plain.
Make it plain, bro.
You know, and if we're not going to have these conversations, right, and we've been ignoring them, in fact, I believe in a certain degree that a lot of information's been suppressed, we need to be able to put it on the table and show where we are as Bermudians, whether we're black, white, mixed, whatever.
I agree.
We have to put it on the table.
Yes, because
The country is suffering as a result.
we're talking about our existence.
Exactly.
We're not talking about interest payments or debt or how many tourists. We're literally talking about life and death of Bermudians.
But look at the data that you're putting up in front of us today, right? It isn't about black, white, or mixed. It's about Bermudian.
We're suffering all wrong. We
Exactly.
are not having it. I want you to understand this fact. Non-Bermudians
Yes.
who aren't about a third of the workforce.
Yes.
Actually, I could probably put my hands on it.
Yes.
How many jobs right now? So in 2024, there were 33,000 jobs.
Yes.
8,600 were held by non-Bermudians.
Okay.
So I want you to figure out, if you're in Bermuda not working, maybe you're rich or whatever, but most
Yes.
likely retired, not making babies.
Right.
However, the issue of non-Bermudians in Bermuda,
Yes. Yes.
having more children than they need at a replacement level
Speaks volumes.
in Bermuda. So this is what I mean about our civil servants and public officers. I can't say enough about. Imagine they're putting out reports showing
Yes.
that Bermudians are choosing not to have children because of the state of the country, the cost of living, and blah, blah, blah. But non-Bermudians are having more children than they need.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Exactly.
And so if there isn't, if you will, a replacement going on, what's going on?
Yeah.
And if it isn't a replacement, what are the tools that are being implemented to ensure we are not replaced or extinct?
Yes.
You know, I just got a note from Nikita. I pray to God that this is good day, caller.
Okay, gentlemen. You're right on point, Corey, in the sense of what are the tools that's being put in place or should be put in place for us to increase our population. Now, I heard you mention the other day that there were 500 jobs that was being offered out there for people to, it could have been more, 525, 30. And you mentioned how 500 of those jobs went to non-Bermudians.
No, that's not quite
So
right.
you know what that, right? So you know what that means to the Bermudian population, right? That's 500 homes and housing that they would have other than a Bermudian, because they got to live somewhere. That doesn't necessarily mean the whole 500 of them would have to use a Bermudian. They could be replacing or whatever the case may be. What the main point of that is that those people are gotta live somewhere. Out of that, there's those homes that are one of the main problems that we have in increasing our population is housing. It should be the number one thing that the government should be working on, which they are working on. But we need, the population is needed 3-bedroom affordable housing in order for us to increase our population. Affordable. This is the main problem that you would have with people even thinking about having any other children. In the sense that, because you need 3 bedrooms. You need a bedroom for a boy, a girl, and also the husband and wife or the significant others was living together in that house. This is one of the main problems that we have right now that we need in order to decrease the Bermuda population. And this should be this should be the main priority for the government to be dealing with, in the sense that if we can take money like $250 million to bail out the sloppiness that ran on up in Morgan's Point. We can give out all of these concessions to hotels for 2 and 15 years with no tax being paid. We can also support hotels like South Princess for $75 million of the taxpayers' money. Not saying that it's cash money we're giving them, but if they was to fall short, we'll have to come up with the money the same way we did with Mortgage Point and other things that we did. We need housing. We need 3-bedroom affordable homes for the Bermudian people in order to increase their population, and it also be some sort of moratorium or some sort of way of varying the amount of people that's allowed to come into this country due to the fact that we have a housing shortage, in the sense of how the Bermudian families is going to be able to rent homes and this and that and the other. You already have a problem with the landlords who prefer to rent to foreigners because they're guaranteed. This is why the foreign people, the people that's coming here, is having more children than us, is because they are more likely to be guaranteed a home to bring up them children other than the Bermudian people due to the fact that they work in a seasonal thing where right now some people is laid off because of the season of the hotel industry, and we're bringing it up again with the new hotels coming in and this and that. So there's more Bermudians going to be working in those industries, in the sense that they're only going to be working on a part-time 6 months, 9 months stops in the basis of being able to afford to pay the rent and this and that. And then when they actually get financial assistance from the government to help them in those short times, you get landlords who refuse to even accept them to be able to do that. So that is what is really needed. If we really want to see our population grow, we need the priority that we need right now is for government to focus on building affordable homes for the Bermudian people, genuine Bermudian people, in order for us to be able to raise our families and increase our population. And that's what needs to be done right now. I know they're working on this and working on that, but we need to see a plan. We want to hear that plan. We don't want to hear these bits and pieces of what is going to be done this and that. We want to see a plan. We want to see larger homes being built, high-end apartment places for the Bermudian people, the Bermudian families to raise their families. We don't want to be going backwards in containerized houses or this low-end type of way of living. We want to go higher up. If we can use our money to support business, the first people that we should be supporting is our own people. Okay?
All right. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
All righty.
Okay.
Really?
Wow.
It's after 4, so we are out of here.
Okay. Interesting. I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I would be able to put my hand on this quickly, but here we are. This is a report I'm going to read out tomorrow. Okay. And I just want, because I hope that I have, been straight to the information.
Right.
Let me tell you this is from a report, and I'm going to deal with this tomorrow. Consultation on retaining the local workforce, position paper 2024.
Okay.
So this was published in March. of 2024. I'm reading on page 14. Proposals for Permanent Resident Certificate, PRC. Considering the minimal impact made by prior changes to PRC eligibility and the need to retain the local working population, the following changes are proposed. Number 1, reduce the eligibility criteria for granting the PRC to any person who has been ordinarily resident in Bermuda from 20 years or more to 10 years or more. Reduce the eligibility to granting a PRC to the non-Bermudian parent of a child with Bermudian status who has been resident from 15 years to 10 years. Reduce PRC eligibility requirements for a job maker. We know they're not hiring Bermudians, but a job maker from 10 years to 5 years. And reduce the requirements for the following categories: nurses, financial analysis, actuaries, engineers, developers, and accountants. The government proposes to lower the age the time limit it takes to qualify for a PRC. And elsewhere on page, I forget what page that was, but what they are trying to achieve, I just read them so I can find it here.
Wow.
What they're trying to achieve. 1 minute, really. I can't seem to find. Oh, here we go. Page 6. Under retention of guest workers in the workforce, regarding non-Bermudian workers, it is proposed that by lowering the time requirement for persons to obtain a PRC, it is more likely that the current foreign residents will remain in Bermuda, as they will be able to enjoy all of the benefits of a PRC holder, to reside, work, and invest their savings locally. The only benefits PRCs will not have compared to Bermudians are the right to vote and the right to receive certain benefits like financial assistance. Really?
Yeah.
That it?
Okay.
We'll come back tomorrow. How do you want to leave us with any words, mate?
I said this word before. This is sobering. Listen, from a cultural point of view, I'm a Bermudian, unapologetically. And I would like to see more done for us to retain our culture, historically and otherwise, and for us to live to value. We have to value every life that we have here. Not only that, we have an obligation to keep our culture going, to making more babies.
I got to tell you, tomorrow we're going to deal with some of the stuff I just read, retention, and 2 other reports, factors driving immigration. Why are Bermudians leaving? And there are 2 other projection reports as well. Caller, you on the air? I tried. So we'll deal with demographics, and we'll deal with how and why Bermudians are leaving, where they're going, and what that is doing. Like I said, there is no good news here. I'll try one more time. Good day, caller. Hello.
Yes. Hey. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. I want people to listen and hear. You need the dormitories back in all these hotels. The housing is what less people here now, if you think about it. And why we don't have the house for the people, Bermudians to live in, is because all the foreigners are living there. They need to go back to dormitories. Princess is getting ready to build a big multi, whatever. And they're going to have all these people here. We need to live.
Okay.
You need the dormitories back here. And they need to make the hotels, build them, if they in part of the, what they say, they're giving them exemptions and all that, $500,000, $2 million. That should be right in there. In order for you to build this hotel, you got to build up dormitories. That way, lovely housing will become available.
Okay.
If you don't do nothing, you really don't have any island space.
All right.
You got a lot of cars put up down to Georgia.
Okay.
All righty.
Yeah, said it before. I can't see why people can't understand it. It worked in the 60s when we were coming up.
Okay.
Every hotel had dormitories. And then the houses were available for Bermudians. Now they took over the dormitories. We think people can stay too. Any better?
All right, sir. I got to run.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? All right, thanks a lot. All right, Billy. Tomorrow we'll be back at 2 o'clock.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Like I said, there's no good news today. To be honest, with everything I've read, I actually don't quite know. Let me give you an example of something tomorrow. Then we have statistics on how many Bermudians left at one point who had degrees. And we have that number compared with the average ratio of degrees in the workforce.
Okay.
Double. And that's so I'll leave it like that.
You've been listening to The Corey Butterfield Show, where stimulating conversation is heard every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 2 p.m. here on Magic 102.7 FM.